Okay, next up, lists. So I told you before that you can't include objects of different types within a vector, but what if you need to include objects of different types? So when I was creating my art, I had this list of parameters, but what if I wanted to have text in there? So a good example would be an object like this, where I need to have 3 numbers for my seed. We actually did encounter that when making scroll. I only need 1 number to describe the number of paths. If I wanted to store the palette name, that would be character, and maybe I would want to have a thing that says should I save it, and that should be a logical value. It's either true, save it, or false, don't save it. If you want to mix arbitrary objects together, you create a list, right? And think of lists as containers for arbitrary objects. So again, I'm trying to go quickly, and so I will just copy and paste the code over here. Normally I would just type it slowly and give you time. How do we work with lists? So well, first let's just have a look at our object. So as per the thing, it looks like that. The dollar operator is the thing that allows you to pull out one of the variables. So the way to think about this is seed is its own variable. It's a vector, an object. Paths is an object, steps is an object, and in fact palette is an object, and they're all different objects. So this one is a numeric vector, this is a numeric scalar, this one is a logical, save is a logical scalar. You get the idea, I hope. And when we use the dollar operator, what we're really doing is trying to pull those objects outside of the list. And so the list itself is just a container for the objects. So if I go, I'll just clear my screen and go art $seed, it returns the object. If I want to just pull out the first element of the list, right, if I want to just find that thing inside the list, I do it with double brackets. That gives me exactly the same answer as art_seed. What this is doing is extracting the object that is inside the list, right? Were I to do it with single brackets, I get something that looks really similar, but is in fact a list. In other words, what it's done is, if you again think of lists as containers, all that I do when I go art_1 is grab get rid of everything else in the container, but I leave the first thing in there, so the seed stays inside the list. So we still have seed inside a list. When I use the double brackets, I'm actually pulling out of the list. That's the difference between the two. Okay, enough on that. I'm going to stop now. Okay, I will, really.